Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Amethyst Rune Witch, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to dispose of spells. Um, I'm going to use my travel spell as an example from a few months ago and use that as an example. So it can depend on the kind of spell you've done. So if you've done a sachet or bag, or a money spell, like a money bowl, or anything that uses lots of earthy kind of elements, earthy ingredients. Um, unless it contains salt, I would recommend burying it in the ground, because in that way you're sort of thanking the earth for providing what you've used, and then giving it back to nourish the earth again and carry on the cycle. Salt, unfortunately, renders soil infertile, which is why I said don't use salt. If you put salt in a spell, don't bury it, unless it's in an area that doesn't grow anything anyway. Like that would be the only caveat I'd add to that. Typically, with salt, I'd just throw it. So depending on it can depend on the purpose of the spell as well. So protection spells, again, provided they don't have salt, you could put them in bury them, or if you don't think you need that protection anymore, you can, and it contains salt, placing it ceremoniously in either a rubbish bin or your main bin outside, that could work. If it's a sort of hex or a curse type thing, just chucking it without a care in the world into the bin, that works fine. If it's something that's slightly more emotional, so emotional healing, healing from shadow work, anything like that, you could use water. So you could take everything down to a stream, a river, a lake, the sea even, and offer it up, everything in your hands, offer it down to the sea, to the whatever water you're using, and just offering it and letting go. That's also a good one. Same can be for cord cuttings, the remnants of cord cuttings. Depends on what you're cutting the cord from. So I would say that it all depends on what you feel is right. If you don't feel like something needs to happen, if you don't feel like offering to water is right, if you're okay with just putting the remnants in the bin or burying the herbs in a garden, that's okay. Like, follow your intuition, follow your gut feelings about this, because it's your spell work. So what I'm doing, what I suggest, might not work for you or might not feel right to you, and that's okay. It's witchcraft, so we make it our own. So what I do though is I would split everything up into the different elements. So using my travel spell, protection while traveling spell, I used 2 different crystals, two wooden runes, and a whole bunch of herbs, and a bag, obviously. So I've got 2 wooden runes, which I can cleanse using salt, incense smoke, the light of the moon, the light of the sun. Like I can cleanse these any way I want and reuse them in another spell. That's the beauty of them. I can reuse them. So that's those. I can deal with that another day. I've got a piece of howlite, which was all about safe travels. And again, I can cleanse this in pretty much the same way, although I maybe wouldn't use salt. But I could smoke cleanse it. I could leave it on a windowsill, cleanse it with the moon. And again, I've got, I think it's grey aventurine chips, the largest of which looks a bit like that. So it's still small, but it's big enough. So I've got these. I can cleanse these in exactly the same way as the howlite. I could keep them separate so that they don't, you know, their energies don't mix. So there's that I can do. Ooh. One of the chips went on the floor. I'll find that. Cats are sleeping. So that's the crystals. Now the herbs are still in the bag because it's herbs. But what I can do with these is, because I didn't use salt, I can make a little hole in the ground somewhere and bury them, give them back to the earth as a way of saying thank you for growing the plants, thank you for being an ally in my spell, thanks for everything, here's my thanks to you, I'm giving back to you, I'm returning the energy to you. So there's that. And yeah, that's about it. I could have put some eggshells. That's the thing. Crushed eggshells. Cascarilla, I think it's called. Is great for spells that end up being buried outside. Because it's a protective thing, it's a creative fertility type thing. It's just, it's good for the ground. This is good for the ground. Salt is not. So yeah, essentially dispose of spells how you feel is right. If you're not entirely sure, maybe sit and think about the kind of spell you've done. So if it's a bag and, you know, it's sort of like a containment for someone and you want rid of them from your life, then take the bag away or just throw them out like the trash. Throw them out with the rubbish. It's up to you. It's there's just as many ways of disposing of a spell. I mean, I could burn this. I could burn all these. I'm not going to, just because it doesn't feel right. I'd like to bury them, and I'm going to. So that's the thing. If some, oh, that was the other thing. You can burn things. So if you've done a spell, written something down, you can burn it. You know, if you're releasing something, then, you know, you can burn it afterwards, and then once it's burnt, let the air take the ashes away. The air can help with that. You know, it's hard to describe how to dispose of spells because there are so many different spells, and how I do spells isn't necessarily the same as what you guys might do, but it's an option. This is me just going, here's different options, choose which one feels right. If you want to do a mix of things, so if you've got, say, crystals and runes, or pop it or something, then, and you want to reuse it absolutely fine, not a problem. Go for it. Cleanse it is the only advice I would have. Cleanse it, you can reuse it. Done. Herbs, it's a little bit different because I'm fairly certain there's rosemary and mint, and there's at least one other herb in this, and I can't remember what it is. So there's no point in me keeping that mix. So I'm going to get rid of it in the most respectful way to me. So options. If you're not sure about how to dispose of a spell, pop it in the comments. I will absolutely respond. I will present it as this is what I would do, but I would never say this is what you have to do, because as I keep saying, it's witchcraft. It's something we make personal for ourselves. It's something that we, how I do spells isn't necessarily how someone else does spells. I start with an idea. I start with a question. Or I start with, a nagging feeling of I need to grab this, this, and this and use them in a spell somehow. But I don't know what the spell is. But when I look into those ingredients individually, the purpose, the spell idea comes to life. That's, it's a craft. Make it your own. Absolutely. Go mad with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. If someone's saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you don't. That's their way of doing things, and it works for them. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. Find a different way. Nothing wrong with it. So that's what I have to say about disposing of spells. I'm hoping to get back into doing more videos, so there will be more regular ones, and I'm really sorry for having missed so many over the last month or so. A couple of months actually. Over the last couple of months. I'm really sorry. I've just bad headspace. But I'm back now, so it's all good. If you know of anyone who might find this useful, please do share. If you've learnt something, please do like the video, and I will see you again soon for some more magic. Stay safe everyone, and blessings to you all.